Okay, very good. Welcome to our weekly talk show. Today we're going to be talking about polygamy versus monogamy. And we also will have an opportunity to look into 50-50 relationship in the West and in the Gambia. Because it looks like this kind of relationship is coming up in our communities and we have to discuss and sensitize one another. So our talk shows gonna be talking about political, social issue, economical issues, so that we can sensitize our people. These are all part of civic education to empower the citizens. So we welcome you all. I have my panelists, Alas, and I have Sam, and I'm your welcome host. Thank you. So monogamy and versus polygamy. As some of us who are in the West, what we see in the West is that polygamy is not encouraged here. It's not even a practice that is in align with the laws, especially in the US. You are not entitled to have more than one partner. If you do, it's against the law, it's a violation, and of course, it will not be recognized. So, polygamy is something that is widely practiced back home since our ancestors, and of course, in Islam, it is allowed as well. You are allowed to marry up to 4 wives, provided that you can provide for them and treat them equally. So this has been a practice not only in Africa but in other part of the world, especially in other Islamic countries. But the West don't look at it that way. They believe in one-to-one, and the situation we have in the world now is the population of the world is about 5 something billion. And I think the ratio between men to women is like perhaps 1 to 3 or something like that. Some people would say 1 to 4. So that means we will have a lot of populations, a female population that wouldn't get married or that wouldn't have a partner legally. I'm not saying illegally. Now, that's that having to have polygamy would never be as needed as it is now because of based on this ratio. And as Muslims, we are not allowed to have partners outside of marriages. So that actually subject the Muslims to even consider this polygamy idea, or polygamy practice. At the other hand, you can make an argument. How can somebody love 2 people or 3 people equally? So this is some of the things that this is some of the reason why we are here today. I don't believe, that
You're frozen.
I'm frozen.
Your signal was gone. Now it's there again, but very weak.
Okay, I don't believe that one person can love 3 people or 2 people equally. However, I believe that you can treat them equally. But it's take a lot of work. I have to be honest with you. Take a lot, because if you look at your children, if you have more than 3 children or 2, you can see there are some that you favor because based on certain things, maybe based on their what they do, how they intelligent they are, and so forth, or how they care about you. Now, you can say that maybe that's the same way this will look like, but again, it's not easy to love them, equally. That is kind of impossible. So it is a very complex and very sensitive topic. The reason why we're bringing it up because it's a concern now. I think there is one country in Africa they started to put it in the law that every man must marry more than one wife, because the woman population there, the female who are unmarried, is so much that the country was concerned. I forgot the name. I can Google it, but I think this is something that we need to talk. Our government need to also be sensitive about it. Our leaders, our elders, and see how, we in the West, how would this impact us? Because here is not allowed to be practiced, but at the same time, there's always a way for something. So I'll let my panelists go ahead and talk about this. Then we're gonna come to 50-50 relationship at the end of the hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sawaneh.
Go ahead, Alice.
Oh, Sam. Okay, I'll do you a favor. Hello, everybody. Yeah, Mr. Sawaneh, thank you very much for your speech. I mean, this is a very interesting and difficult topic sometimes. Yeah, I mean, when we talk about polygamy, the whole world, they turn their eyes to Africa automatically. So it seems that we are doing that and not others. I mean, in the West, it's normal. But if you look at it, we try to even follow Saudi Arabia in all cases because our prophet come from there. But when we come to this topic, you will see that we diverge at the same time. You understand? Because the Arabs themselves, they don't do that. They'll tell you in Africa Muslims should, but look at the Arabs whether they are doing that. Our prophet was doing that for a reason, and the Arabs they know that too. Because what our prophet did, that was a kind of social welfare. You understand? And because those days they used to have a lot of wars, and so many men just leave their families there because they died in the war, things like that. So you had a lot of families there without their fathers. That's where, as they told me, that the prophet said, okay, men who can afford it, they can also take one of these families and make them their partner or family, their wives. you know, he himself got also a lot because of helping. And that's the situation you're talking about, Mr. Sawaneh, the ratio and things like that. It's unfortunate that it's like that, and that's why the women should make sure that they are also active in any case, not just to say the men can do that, not the woman. That is just a misconception. It's another believing. But what men can do, there are certain areas, even the women can do it better. So there is no excuse for me. We see here women who are pilots, you know, they are human beings. We see women who are scientists. Look at this corona thing. The biggest percentage, from the scientists are women. So that mindset we have to change. So that even if I am a woman and I don't have a man, because they say there are a lot of women, then I can maybe still live on my own and not to be dependent. You know. And this, when you say that, I'll come back to your words, Mr. Sawaneh, that you can only love one. That's the nature. It's normal. You know, if you have a lot of them, there must be one who is your special person. So many people used to say polygamy is more stress, more trouble. Monogamy is more peaceful. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. But for monogamy, you will see that the way to unite, the way to do something is easier. To be happy is also easier. So you come to polygamy, you have more stress. The man will be happy, but the question is always whether the women are as happy as the man. It's not, nobody asks this question. I'm sure that they are not always happy because they always have to compete. There is competition always. And if the man is not fair, this competition will be harder to all of them. You know. I'll come back to your words, Mr. Sawaneh. It is said you can have more, but you have to make sure that you treat them equally. So at the same time, you can only love one because it's normal. We are having only one heart. There must be one special for you. It's normal. But then still try to treat them equally. That is a hard job because you have to be a fair person, which is very rare. You know, and that's where these problems come sometimes. I mean, when we talk about monogamy, I think they have the chance to be happy. Uh, on the other hand, maybe it's not fair for other women who cannot get married because this man needs to marry only one. Maybe it's not fair for them. But we can see that in our society, many women are unhappy through this polygamy thing. You know, because of what? We having this picture from the ancient times. you know, Especially say in Gambia or Africa. You know, if you are respected, you are a big person, you have money, you have 7 wives. So you have another status and a positive status. So you'll see that is not only the religion reason, but this mindset. If Sam is having 5 wives, then he's having money. That's why he can afford that. So you will be seen as a big person. But whether you are treating them fairly, whether they are happy or so, people don't always focus on those things. And this picture, many people try to take that today to put themselves also in this status that people see them as the big person or things like that. You know, and some make even through that themselves unhappy because you marry wives, you don't treat them equally, they're quarreling, there's competition, they are unhappy. I think at the end of the day, you as the man, you fall also in the same trouble. So, I mean, maybe we have to practice that to make sure that we treat them fairly. What I just wanted to say, we have these problems: the religion, the economical problems, the cultural, because some cultures used to even tell their men, why are you just marrying one woman? You know that our culture we used to get 5, things like that. Even if the man is not ready for it, but they can come with such things that the man try to think of another wife and another wife because he believes that he is from that culture, and they are trying to push it to him that he has to, So that is also another problem, you know. I mean, it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult topic, but yeah, I can only advise women today that they should not think that only men can do something. We have here, even in Germany now, a woman sitting as the minister president here, So there is no difference. They should take out that, throw away that mindset. What men can do, they can do it too. Sometimes even better. You understand? Because here it is known that women drive even more carefully than men. Because we used to have a lot of accidents here. And if you see the percentage, they are all men. Because women drive carefully, more carefully, than the men. So these are these things. Yeah, let me leave Sam to come. I mean, it's difficult. If I say you should get only one, maybe it's not good for you. If you should get more, it's okay. I mean, before it was a reason, and even if within the religion was the reason, it was just like social welfare. Because those days they didn't have it like today, that you have to go to the social welfare office and they go and help you. There was nothing like that. That's why all these things came about. But many Muslims take that as a privilege. Even if they cannot afford it, they'll tell you, oh, I'm a Muslim, I'll get 5. No, you can do it, but many use the religion. They know that they cannot afford it, but the excuse is, "Oh, I'm a Muslim," without knowing the reasons behind. I'm okay, Sam. You can go.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you for that. All right, Sam. What's
Thank
your take on this?
you. Just like Alice said, this is a difficult subject, and it is also very interesting and very sensitive at the same time. My belief is I believe in Prophet Muhammad and whatever he stated and whatever he or whatever foundations that he laid for Muslims being a Muslim and from a Muslim country. I believe that that needs to be practiced. It is not a matter of must that we have to do it, but it's more like just like how the prophet said it. If you can afford it and you can do it, I think you should. Now, there are questions around it, and then there are fundamental principles around it. And one of the things that I'll look at first is the advantages and disadvantages, the pros and cons, um, and all of those things that we need to factor in here. When there are too many women in the world, more than men, what is the impact of that in our society? The impact of that in our society has really tremendous impacts, but it's also many of them, many impacts. Um, and one, when there are more women than men, that means some women will not have the opportunity to enjoy their lives just like everybody else. That means our own children, if I have a daughter, if everybody put everything, think about it, put yourself in their shoes. And if you have a daughter, what do you think your daughter's future should be like? What would you, or how would you like your daughter to live? You want your daughter to be happy. You want your daughter to live a good life and follow the religion. You don't want your daughter to be someone that is not going to get a husband. So she is going to end up on the streets. You don't want that to happen. But at the same time, you want your daughter to be someone that will live in a good life, marry a good husband, and someone that's going to take care of them, not someone that's going to maltreat them, not someone that's going to put them somewhere and forget them there, and not someone that's going to see your daughter suffer, cannot have a good place to live, not good food, food and shelter not available, health in conditions that you cannot, and they can't get help to support their own health. All of these are things that we have to think about. So I support polygamy because of those fundamental reasons there. Um, and also, if if a man wants to stick with only one wife, it's got to be a wife that you really love to a point where you can't cheat outside. You cannot just go out and see a beautiful girl going there and you want to follow that beautiful girl. That's not fair. That's not fair to your wife. And that beautiful girl is somebody else's daughter. So you got to think about all of that. And as someone's daughter, who wants his daughter to have a good life, not another man playing with their daughter. Nobody wants that. So we have to look at it from different angles. And the reason why I said I support polygamy is because um, we need to be able to uh, create a fair environment for people, fair environment for our women, knowing that our women are at a disadvantage because they are more than men, and not all of them. If you look around the whole world, not all of them are going to marry. I mean, you'll see women that are out there. They are 40 something years, 50 something years. They've never married. They've never been married before. There are reasons around that, and I don't know. We don't need to get into different reasons, but chances are they don't have the opportunity to marry. They just didn't have anybody that wants to marry them or they want to marry to. Because all the good ones that they've known, all the good men that they've known have all been taken, you know.
Mhm.
So,
Like yourself.
no, not like you, you know. So, so,
Sam
so,
is ready for poly.
and they would also wish that they have that same good man there. So if we create that environment, create that opportunity for women, for men to marry more than one wife. One, if you can afford it, and two, that you're going to treat them equally. And I look at it from this way: for men, when you have more than one wife, you need to think about this just like a teacher in a classroom. You have all students, all from different backgrounds, from different parents. You've got to teach them the lesson. You've got to teach them the course they need to learn. And it doesn't matter who they are and what family they came from. You need to treat them fairly and treat them and teach them the same thing. Okay. Make sure that your word gets to all of them and help them all understand what you're teaching so they can all pass. When a doctor in the hospital receives patients, he needs to treat the patients equally. He needs to make sure that the patients come in. I'm going to take every single patient as my patient. I'm going to do everything I can and help them with what they have to get a better life. I'm not going to treat them one better than the other. One comes in, I'm nice to them, I'm friendly with them, and I do everything. I do everything to find out what exactly is wrong so I can diagnose them and get them the right prescription so they can get the right medicine to be well and not do that for another one. You have to think it from that standpoint. If you are president in a country, you need to look at people that didn't even vote for you and people that voted for you and treat them equally and make sure that what you're going to do it for your country. Don't do it for one individual and support a certain group of people or a certain party, whether they're in your party or not. Once you become a president, you are up there. You are for everybody. So when you are a family, when you are married and you have a family, you need to look at your children the same way, that these are my children. I am going to do everything for them equally. I want to treat them equally. Whatever I do for this one is what I'm going to do for this one. And one way to look at that is, for a parent, sometimes if you think about, all right, if I have 4 children and something came up and they say, well, one of you need to die, or we're going to kill somebody among you. So this is when you're going to think, okay, which child am I going to give them to kill? Or do I give myself to be killed? You have to think about all of that, so you can think, now, do I love this other one better than that one? In my mind, I would say, you take me and leave my children. Deal with,
Yeah, as
deal
a
with
good
me.
father.
Yeah, deal with
So
me,
who's
and
gonna
I
take
have
care of
my.
you? Who's gonna take care of them if they do that?
Well, that's
Everybody
another
gonna
thing.
lose.
That's another thing. Yes, but who will take care of them? That I'll leave that up to God, and I'll leave them for them to have their own opportunity to do what they need to do. But if I put myself on the line, I know that I have a 50% chance of living. I can fight my own way, and if I live, I live. If I die, I die. That's it. But I want my children to have the equal opportunity to live and live on their own, do what they need to do to live, to survive. At least I've stood up as a father and protected them. So when I have 2 wives, I want to treat them the same way. And anybody, all men that have 2 wives or more than one wife, you
That's it.
really need to look at them as, you're not going to somebody's family and ask for a wife that you're going to bring and treat as a slave. No, you're going to bring them and treat them just like you would treat your own sister.
Correct.
Yeah, your wives. That woman is somebody else's sister, is somebody else's daughter. Now, would you like your own daughter or your own sister to be treated any other way other than a decent treatment? No. So treat people the way you want to be treated. So you bring them in, you really need to give them equal treatment, just like you should do anyway, just like all the examples that I gave. If you're going to give this woman $50, be prepared to give the other one the same $50. If you cannot do that, then don't give the other one. That's it. Period. You need to be straightforward. You know,
Don't give them behind the counter, right? Like this one
This
is
is
exactly.
together.
difficult for many
So
men.
let me add some to this one. Don't do that. Right?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's fair treatment. You
there's,
know,
there's,
if
there's
I'm
this
in that
not.
position, that's my mentality. That's how I think, and that's
I
the way
mean,
I'm.
in that case, you can even
Yep.
get 10 if you can do it, because
Exactly.
then they will be
Yeah,
treated fairly.
but be
I'm not
just
against it, even if you get 20.
that
But
is
that is difficult to do
it
because,
is difficult, but consistency is what really set you free. When
right,
you're consistent and you're true to yourself, you're true to God, knowing that whatever you do, God knows it. So
right,
when you do that, you will keep yourself straight by making sure, yes, I mean, this one wants $50. I have the $50, but now if I give you that $50 that you want, what about the other one? I've got to think about that. What about
that's
the
it,
other one?
that's it.
You know, so I can say, all
So
right, well, I
Sam,
have.
Sam, wouldn't you give it based on their need or based on the problem they are facing, or would you give it once you give one wife, you're gonna give the other wife automatically?
Well, the needs there is a difference between a need and a want. You know, I want something. Yeah, you want something, but do you really need it? You know, that's what I look at. You know, I even tell my kids that. You know, so there's a difference between a need and a want. And need is something that is a basic necessity. If you don't have it, it causes something else. Okay.
Right.
If you don't have what you need, if you don't have food, what happened? You can starve. If you don't have water, what happened? You need it. If you don't have clothing, what happened? You need it. But do you need an extra cloth? That is a one. You saw something, you want it, you want to have it. You really don't need it because you have all this. Okay. So you have to differentiate what a need and a want. If this one asks me something that they really need, yes, you need to do it because again, you brought them from their own family to your place that with the oath that you're going to take care of them. So take care of their needs. That's one. Now, anything that's a need, I'm going to treat it as a need. Anything that's a want, you just want it, but you don't need it, and you ask for it. I'm either going to say, okay, because I have it. If I have it, I'll say, all right, well, because you only want it, you don't need it. I'll give it to you. But if I give it to you, I'm going to give it to the other one too, because it's not a necessity. It's not a need. It's not something that you really need now. You just want it. Well, I'm going to make the decision for
But,
myself.
but
I will
Sam,
either give it to both of you, or I'll say, well, here's what I'm going to do. I will split it. You take this and you take this. Or I just don't do it. I'm going to say straightforward. It's not something you need. So I don't need to, we don't need to do that. You know, so
yeah,
I
you have
think
to
at
be
the end
fair,
of the
no?
day, consistency is the key. How do you get consistent? It's very important to really think about how you can treat your wives consistently. It's just like how you treat your children consistently. You know, I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to set you free, and that's what's going to set you free year after.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
true.
Yep.
Thank you. You want to say something, Alas, before I come in?
No, I'm supporting his idea, but it's a difficult task, as you mentioned, Mr. Sawal, you know, to fairly treat them all. Now, I just wanted to tell Sam, with his method, if you have a wife or two wives, the ones used to buy things even that she doesn't want, and the other one is a calm guy, economical. So don't you think you are when you always share it, the other person is not going to keep her money and later will be even richer than you because it's always having money what and don't have any reason to go for shopping. You know, the other one is asking you, dividing, giving that person money. just because you want to be fair. And later you'll be a rich person because he's economical and knows how to go with
Well,
money and
yes.
don't want
Well,
just like the other person. Don't you think at the end there will be a problem? Not that
no.
the one spending will say, "Oh, look, you have, you gave her all the money,"
Yeah.
without
Sometimes,
understanding that the person was saving.
right. Sometimes, I know. Sometimes, I think about this from human resource standpoint in a work environment. Equal treatment and treating people correctly. So sometimes it's best to be open. There are certain things that you need to be open with your family and say the truth
This
and not
is
hide
very
anything.
important.
And in that case, I would say, hey, I'm gonna give so and so this, but I'm gonna give you too. You deserve the same thing. I'm gonna give it to you.
Right?
Now,
Yeah.
if this one
That's
decides
right.
to go spend all of their money, that's a problem. If this one decides to save it, I'm hoping
It
with
can happen.
the generosity that I showed, that I'm being honest with you and I'm treating you fairly. Hopefully, one day, if I don't have it, that one will take out what
Give it
she
to you
wants to do
again
for dinner.
and help you again. You
Yeah,
never know because
she will
life.
take it out and go spend it on
They
all of
used
us.
to say the art is always turning, so you never
Exactly.
know. You
When
know
you do
today,
good
you don't
things,
know
it
tomorrow.
turns around, it comes back. So I think I think hopefully that will be the case there. But even though
Yeah.
whether that happened or not, at least I've done my part and I've done it consistently and fairly. Yep.
No,
Yeah,
I give you right. I just wanted you to think of that point also. That's
Yep.
yeah,
it's a difficult
It's a
thing. I
difficult
know.
subject. And that's why for men, if you cannot do this, you cannot be consistent and you cannot be fair, then don't start. That's it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we are having it in Africa, and it's almost normal, So, and some women don't have anything to say because they think, yeah, there's demand, and they're having also their competitors and things of that sort, or because due to economic reason they have to adapt to such a situation, even if they are not happy in the marriage, or
yeah,
cultural or religious, because some will tell them the Muslim religion, for example, and things
yeah,
like that, or they have family already. They think so.
yeah.
Such women are also happy in such a condition. Is that also not a sin?
Yes. So Alas, let me come in. Why? Can you guys hear me? Hello.
You, but now your screen is frozen. Okay, you're back on. Go
Can
ahead.
you guys hear me? All right. So what Alas is saying is very true. It can be sinful, okay, because you are forced into this marriage where there's somebody already. Now, how are you gonna fit in this marriage? That's the big question. You're married to a man who already have him. I kind of give hands to people who do that, because here you go, you come into already an established relationship, somebody who already have a wife, and now you're gonna fit in. How are you sure, guarantee that you're gonna fit in? Okay. And what about if things don't work out?
That's the
So
problem.
it actually, parents who force their kids to that could actually cause them, it could actually cause themselves some sin. I agree with Alas on that. But the whole entire polygamy,
Yeah, but on the other hand, you hear that
the whole entire
they say
polygamy,
that as a woman you have to.
yeah. But the whole entire polygamy, I want to look at it like this. We have a ratio of 1 to 3, perhaps 1 to 4. I'm not sure. But I think it falls around that. There's more women in the world than men. Now, how do we solve this problem? Because our culture doesn't allow women to be with people that they're not married to. Okay, that's why in our religion it states to marry more than you can marry up to 4, provided that you can provide and treat them equally.
Right.
Okay, How you go about doing that is another challenge. I'm pretty sure not all men can do that because we are naturally
Yeah, but then
we are corrupt. So we tend to favor people who favor us more. So in a relationship, favoring more is really is a lot of way that can happen. Okay, so I think we are at a very complex situation. We have the world population of female going higher, and we cannot be affording to see our females go without men. And the same religion said, if you don't marry, if you marry, you can save up to a certain number of people in your family in the heavens. So if you marry properly, so now the women's have been
corrupt.
haven't getting those chances. You have all this like half of the population. You can even take Gambia as an example. How many women are there without husband, and perhaps will stay like that? So that's why I think
Yeah, but I think for Gambia is a problem, you
it is a
know.
social issue. It's not only a religious issue. It's a social issue that needs to be communicated. We need to talk about it and see, because the fact of the matter is this world now is dominated by the Western culture. We want, we all are westernized, kind of. Even people in the Gambia, if you look at the way people live now, they are westernized. They are independent. Women are more independent and probably are getting their own source of income. So at some point they can say, okay, well, I don't even need a man. I can live a life without a man. So this will also cause more women not to get married. So I think, our polygamy cannot be needed more than now. Why? Because
Right.
people have to understand the circumstances. If you have a daughter, you have a sister, you would know. Because you know why? They sit up to at the age of 35, 40 without a husband, and you'll question yourself, is something wrong with them? No, there's no wrong. It's a shortage of men. That's what is wrong. There isn't enough men in the world. That's
Yeah,
what is
but
wrong.
then
Because men
but
had died in the wars,
at the
men
same
had
time,
died in different places. Men, if you look at the hospitalization, the way men dies are far more higher than women. Women tend to live longer. So there's a lot of advantage and disadvantage in this. So I think what our society need to be doing is thinking a way, how can we accommodate other women who don't have a man? And that's when polygamy comes into play. I understand this whole fallacy of you cannot love more than two people at the same way. Of course, you cannot. If anybody said they can, it's lying. It's not gonna happen. But you can treat people the same way. That one I believe because I have children, and I've never seen any of my child complain, "Daddy, you don't treat me right than this." They would say, "Daddy, you have in common with this one than me." Okay, or maybe this one get this from me, you. But to say you treat me, better, you treat this other one better, or you are more friend to this, no. That depends on the parents, and it also work the same way as if you have more than one couple, more than one wife. So
and they
you
have
have
to.
to. But what I don't understand about what Sam said is, and what kind of complicated is that, how do you provide across the board? For instance, somebody has a circumstances, a situation. Do you have to make it up to all of them? Or I'll give an example. One of your wife has an issue to take care of. Are you gonna be like everyone that has an issue to take care of if you have, let's say, three wives? Or are you gonna if you have to spend $20 on the issue, are you gonna give $20 across the board? And anytime someone has an issue, you do it across the board, or do you have to do it based on issues?
Right.
And also, if you have to do it based on issues, who has more issues? Because people do have more issues than, depending on their want, the way of life they want to live. So that one will
History.
not be fair.
That's where the
So here's an example. That is true. So here's the way I think about it. And like I said, this all starts from the beginning. Everything is proper planning. You plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you gotta plan it. and set the standards from the beginning. Very, very important. It's just like when you marry, you have a wife, and you have your first child. After the first child, a second child comes in. Second child comes in after the first one was already established and you've already built that relationship. You love your child. You've done everything for that person. Well, a second child comes in. What happened? It's also your child. That child deserves the same equal treatment as the first child. So, how do you make this first child understand that they are not alone now? They are not the only child. There is another one, and this is their brother or sister. So, how do you make them understand that this is our family? You're not the only person. There's another one here, and there's another one here. So now it's a family. So when you bring a wife, of course, before bringing the wife, that's part of the planning, is the discussion, the agreement, the discussion with the current wife, putting them in the picture, tell them the truth, respect them and tell them the reasons why you want another wife. All right. Now, to answer your question, um, one wife has an issue. Like I said, I always want to differentiate the difference between need and want. Okay, if one wife has an issue, that's an issue that need, just like you said, need to be taken care of. Well, that's a necessity, becomes a necessity. From your standards, you set it up there. If you have an issue that really need to be taken care of, yes, I've got to take care of it. I'll help you. That doesn't mean that I need to do it. It's just like you have two cars. One car, light comes in and say need oil change. Do you need to take both cars and go change oil because the other one needs it, the other one doesn't? No, you don't. You change the one that needs oil and then save the other one until that also needs the oil change and change the oil at that time. So it's
Problem
the same
comes.
thing,
That's why it's not an easy task,
it's not an easy
There
task,
and there is no
but
no 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 recipe
right,
for it.
but you've got to set the standards from the beginning for both of them to understand. If you have a problem, you have an issue that needs to be taken care of, I will take care of that issue at that time when I can. Same thing for the other one. If that other one's also another time you have an issue, same thing. The way that issue got taken care of is the same issue. Your is the same way your issue is going to be taken care of. So that way, again, you're giving them equal treatment all the time. And consistency is the key. How do you become consistent? That's the key there. Very, very important to be consistent in what you do. If someone brings up something, one wife brings up something that you really think is not necessary, and you said no to that. If the other one brings the same kind of issue, very similar issue under the same circumstances, and it's just like the law, you should say no to that one too. It's just like it. Treat them equally. If you say
Yes,
yes to this for that, another one comes in over here with the same standard, same issue, you should say yes to that as well.
Wow.
yes,
That, that's it. That,
you
okay.
thank you very much. You have the green light now. You can be a polygamy.
Now, I know this is a hot topic, and a lot of ladies probably would be looking at shaking their head. I don't want anybody. I want my man for me. I don't want to share. A lot of women would say that because women has this kind of like some women has this kind of control, and then this grip, mine is mine. I have to protect it. I want to share. I cannot imagine my man with somebody else and all that. So it's really a challenge. I don't know. God knows best why in Islam it was it's there in Surah Al-Baqarah. I read it myself to allow to marry more than one wife, and if you can treat them equally, and then you can be distant to them. I mean, I couldn't imagine if I'm a woman, if I'm in that situation, well, how would I feel about that? So you look at all that, but you come to the West, they are not married more than one. They're actually scared to get into marriage, by the way, because of the laws here. They would, if you have a property, probably you have something you will share with your partner and all that and all that. So they do prenum even outside, like to say that everybody come in, you come in what you come in, and get out what you you get out. So those people don't even want to even get married. I've seen some of my friends stay with their partners for 10 years before they decide. And if I ask them, they will be like, "Oh, we haven't decided on marriage yet." I'm like, "What? You're living together? What is going on? What is more than this is marriage? You're living together?" They'll say, "No, but I don't know my wife that well yet. I mean my partner that well yet. So we have to give ourselves some time." I say, "When's he gonna know one another?" So the point I'm trying to say is that the West kind of have it twisted a little bit because they're saying monogamy, okay, fine, making illegal, polygamy illegal, fine. But you see some of these big shots, not big shot even, you can see them having girlfriends around, and then while on paper they only have one wife, but they have many other partners. So isn't that technically more than one woman? I mean, we've seen that over and over, and some of them even running for political offices end up losing their jobs because somebody will say, "Oh, they molested me here, they do this to me here. They, I was going out with this one. I have to divorce this one because this one found him cheating." How many of those you see on the shows? Many. So the point of the matter is their approach hasn't even solved the problem. I'm not saying that the other approach of polygamy solved the problem, but this one even don't even come close to solving the problem. So the fundamental question in the world now is how do we close this gap? So we have to keep these women happy. We have to keep them around. They are our mothers, our sisters, our daughters. We have to keep them around, our nieces. But how do we close the gap? And to tell you the truth, I mean, it's hard to say, but some of these things cause this gay stuff in the community. We have to nail the hit the nail on the head. If somebody don't, if there are too many females females might end up getting together, to fulfill their desire. So this also leads to that a taboo thing that we usually don't condone in our country. Of course, all the West, sees it as a way of life, which is to become a gay. But in our country, we don't condone it. And if you end up having a bunch of ladies, I know we are religiously cautious, but what is going to end up happening? We're going to see probably ladies going with ladies. So, of course, I mean, which is taboo. I mean, nobody wants their family to go through that. But we have to think, we, especially we the Africans, we have to think, since we are practicing it, since our parents have practiced it. My dad has 3 wives. I never get upset about that. The only drawback is perhaps, there might be, once you have more than one wife, perhaps your children might be some misunderstanding. They might not be aligning very much because of the separation when it comes to the mother side. But with all that, we manage. With all that, we live together. So I think the fundamental takeaway from this is how do we close the gap? How do we make sure that our women are taken care of? Because there are so many women out there, they don't have somebody to provide for them. And in Islam, if you truly believe in it, women should provide, even if, I'm sorry, man should provide, even if the woman has. Even if your wife has, a man should try to provide. The woman can kind of come in to help out. But fundamentally, the buck stop at the man. And that brings me to that 50-50 thing also. If the buck stop at the man, why is it gonna be changed again for the woman to be the one making like decision or try to have a 50-50 decision? So it's a lot to talk about this, but I'll allow you guys to talk about, and we can talk about our second segment of our topic, which is 50-50 relationship. I think we can jump into that for this for the help of time. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys can go ahead. If you have
Yes,
something to add to this one, or you want to go into the next topic, the 50-50 relationship.
no, I just wanted to make a conclusion. I mean, we can move to the 50-50, because we discussed about everything. I
Okay.
just wanted to add from
Okay.
your words just now, some women didn't get married because they didn't also find the right one. So let us not also forget about that the whole thing is about love. You understand? So if you look at our society, you will see that many of the ladies are not happy. One, they are not treated good. Two, they are forced because of the situation or cultural or the parents, using the religion also to push them in such a marriage without asking the person whether she definitely loves or ready to sacrifice her life. So she'll be just there, but the mind is somewhere else because she's feeling that it's forced to this thing. So that woman is definitely not happy. So many of the women, they also say, I would rather wait till I get the one I need or the one I love because the whole thing is about love. It's not about, I'm hungry, I need a man to feed me. You know, that is the economical thing. And now, which we most of the time in Africa also focus. Also, the women, they'll say, is Sam having money? Then I love him. So they should not always make this mistake. Do I want to go to Sam to help me because I need him economically? Or I want to go to Sam because I love Sam 100%. We have to differentiate these two things. Or I want to go to Sam because of emergency. You know. So I mean, in that place there is nothing like love. So whether that person can be happy or whether Sam will be also happy is another question. And these are the problems. I mean, it fits the topic we're coming to 50-50. You understand that many people are not happy with this 50-50. Many are saying, what is 50-50? If you ask me, there is nothing like percentage because when we talk about love, then we should not talk about numbers.
Well, what about 50-50? Okay, 50-50. Okay.
That
Okay.
is that is just because I think as a couple, if you think about these numbers, you're going to have problems. We've seen it here in the West. You have said it yourself. In Germany, you'll see some people, they'll make a marriage ceremony very big in all newspapers and so on. But if you talk about what about getting kids and so, they'll tell you, no, 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 it's not in our plan. It's not in our list, things like that. Because at that moment, they are focusing on the economy again. So whether there is definitely a love there is another question. So you see here marriages, maybe 3 years, 2 years, because nobody cares. So this 50-50, most of the women, they put it in their head that what the man can do, I can do it. In that manner, I can understand. So they are not dependent, something like that. So that's why they have this freedom. But some they use it to think that they have this freedom that they can do everything they want. They can even stand on top of the hair of them, things like that. And that is the mistake. And if you look at it, when a woman is ready to take 70% to do that, that means this woman don't really love this man. That's why I put away these percentages. The 50-50, I can only understand it with divided responsibilities. For example, the one is responsible for that. For me, I used to say all what is about the household and all these domestic things is not my thing. But if anything is to do technically, then it's my time. Things like that. So you can organize that in your family. You know, but all is to come and make this tree grow. You understand? But when you say 50-50, I say, okay, I have my 50, the car is spoiled, it's not my thing, so I have to wait till some come and do his 50. So things like that, it wouldn't work. That's why the marriages are very short 8 year, when they try to bring these percentages and numbers. I can only say to love each other, do the work together, have the same responsibilities, because that is for me where you can tell me we love each other. You are ready to back each other, then I can understand if you back each other 50-50, I would say maybe that time the number can come. But to say 50-50, just that I can have more to say than my man, or my man will have more to say than, this is all nonsense. Then don't start it. I will not even advise you, because you are not getting married on numbers, but you are getting married. First know the meaning. You get married because of love. So if you love somebody, you can even give him 100%. You understand? It
Right.
doesn't count because of love. You love that person. We are talking of love, but not about money, 50-50 or numbers. And these people here, you can see that these are the disadvantages in this society. You hardly see a man over 50. And the older generation, you see them, they cannot even walk, but they are holding hands on hands. So that is telling you the kind of mindset the new generation is having and the disadvantages. They get married today, tomorrow you see it in the newspaper, it's over. And they are wondering why. And so, because they got married because of other reasons and not the love. So these are the other disadvantages. Um, for me, I don't want to talk much about it. I mean, 50-50, I always say you have to love the person have to love you. Because if you say 50-50, I'm the man, you love me, I don't have.
So Alice, I
It's
have a
nothing.
question that I would like to ask you before Sam come in. If you have a
Yeah.
wife who is working and getting more money than you, would you
Yeah.
allow? Would you still be paying the rent and everything else, or would you would you be looking at that woman also contributing at least half or something? That's one question.
That's where I come again, because when that woman didn't see that your relationship is because of love, she can behave like that. You understand? If I told that you have a woman who understands that you're coming together, the basis is love, will do that without asking. I came here in Germany. I didn't have money from Gambia. You know, you know what my wife did? She went with me to the bank and applied that I can always use her credit card. You understand? So that's why it's nonsense when you have a wife who is trying to tell you, I did this today, tomorrow you have to do that, you know, or you have to give me this amount and this amount. That is, for me, I used to say, it's business, not love. That is business. You understand? So the question is always, how long is it going to hold? And that is not, they are not going to be happy, and they will be oft, very often, they will be quarreling about money, or get stressed because of money, and then quarrel every day. So that's why they used to have their marriages here. After 2 days, you hear it's over. They don't understand it themselves, because you can only go to these marriages because of love. Then you have the chance to live longer together, and not any other reason.
So on the other hand, if you have a wife that wants to have 50% or more of decision making, how would you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, decision making 50-50. Here too, you have to be careful with the number. I will not say, okay, there maybe you can even say 50-50, but the 50-50 is the reason maybe to bring you together to discuss about it. You understand? Because what people do, a man and a woman, is when there is a problem, you bring it and place it on the table and say, how do you see this thing? I That's my idea is, or I see it as this and this and this, and tell the woman also, what do you think? Because she's also having the right to say something. Maybe she can have even a better suggestion how to fix the problem than you as the man. Doesn't mean that only the man knows everything, as we used to have this mindset, especially in Africa. The man knows everything, the man has everything to say, the man has all the money. That's why we put the men also in Africa on pedestals. Some men who doesn't even want it, because we over exaggerate. So you, as a man, a fair person, without thinking numbers, give your wife also the chance to give a suggestion. Sometimes they will help you because we men don't know all. And sometimes the women are quite there, but they are having a very super idea, which will even surprise you. So in that case, it's about your collectiveness, and that is going to bring the whole family forward. You understand? So that's how it comes together. But if I am a man, I try to show the woman, no, 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 don't say anything because what I think is right. So you are making also a mistake. You are also a human, and your wife is also a human. So you can be very diplomatic. Say, I see it with when we do it this and this. That's what I think. It will be we'll go for. Then she can also say, okay, we can do it that way. So it's a problem lost already without problem any stress. If she's having another idea, then you can also try to support her with that idea because you see that she's right, and then even congratulate her so that next time she'll be also ready to impose her idea so that you as a family can solve the problem.
So,
But if you start with, I am the man, I have 60, you have, so that will be tension.
so you kind of don't agree with our whole, system of the man making decision either woman is involved or not. So you kind of like you don't agree with that. You agree with having to get women full, you know, full view on it on things, which in the West is what is practiced before implementation.
Yeah, I mean, you need your woman. You love your woman. Your woman is the person you believe in, and you are the person she's believed in. You know, so when we talk about love, many people believe it's a tree whereby both man and woman should try to water it so that it will grow. You understand? So if only one person is watering it, it will delay. So it's better when both of so maybe that is it's
Good.
an imagination of this 50-50.
Okay.
It's a responsibility from both areas. So you cannot just say that only the woman should do this or only
Okay.
the man
Both is
should
a
do this
collective
or
one.
only
Okay.
the
Thank you.
yeah. Then you have feature. If
Thank you.
not, it's always going to be stressful.
Thank
We are
you.
having that problem now,
Let's
this
yeah.
generation.
Thank you. Let's see Sam's point on this because I know he's also have a lot to say. Thank you, Alas, for that insight.
Thanks to both of you. Definitely, you have touched this topic very well. My belief is, Allah did not make any mistake. Allah made everything perfect for us. If we follow what He says, I think we will be fine. Muslims follow Allah and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quran. Everything is laid out for us. If with the Muslims that follow that direction are in good shape. The ones in the West, say the white folks and the people in the West that don't follow that religion or don't follow that but follow their own, they created problems for themselves. And this is why they don't want polygamy. They want to marry to one person, and then they have girlfriends and girlfriends and girlfriends and things like that. And the wife finds out. The wife hires a person to go kill that person. You don't hear that very often in Gambia. We don't have that. You see that in America. A wife hires a gunman or somebody to go kill the other
Yeah.
girl because they found out about that person. And then it becomes a whole thing. They kill them. If it gets known, then the wife is now taken away from the man and the wife gets into custody in prison for life and things like that. So
At the same, it happens both ways though, because
I know it happens, but it's more common in the West than
no, I'm saying a husband, they can
Yes,
kill
it
the
happens
husband
the
too.
other way around too. Yes,
Yeah.
And it happens the other way around too. Yes, so that's why they have those kinds of problems that we don't have in Gambia. You see, so but anyway, getting into and just like how I said from the beginning, there are pros and cons and advantages and disadvantages. So polygamy, if we don't follow that and want to stick with one person, then our sisters and our daughters will end up on the street, and I'll get farther now. I'll define that more. Just there'll be gay and lesbians out. They will be on the street, of course. They can be prostitutes on the street. Is because they don't have the opportunity to marry somebody else. That's what it all creates. That's why we got into that. But anyway, so that's why I said Allah is perfect. Allah did not make any mistake, and He's never going to make any mistake. So, but anyway, going to the 50-50, my belief is, just again going back to the Quran and Prophet Muhammad and Allah.
Wow, today's service. You are a right Muslim today.
A man is the head of the household, period. Okay? A man is the head of the household. You are responsible to take care of your people, your family, your wife and your children. Be the head of the household. Now, anything else that comes still under the head of the household. If a man marries a woman, even if that woman has more money than that man, again, still the man is the head of the household. You are responsible. That's why you went to marry a woman. You went to marry a woman because you were confident enough that your income will be able to support you and your wife. So if you bring a wife that ends up having more money than you, again, you're still, the responsibility of your house is your responsibility. You're responsible for the food and shelter in that house. Is your responsibility as the head of the household. Now, a woman, is up to the woman. If a woman decides to add in and support, that's her call. And I also believe that if a woman that has more money than the man is not really going to ask the man, I want to buy this pair of shoes, I want you to buy it for me, when you actually have more money than your husband. I don't believe that that's going to happen. Common sense will tell you that part. But I strongly believe that a man should remain the head of household and be able to take care of your household. However, when it comes to decision making, yes, you should be able to involve your wife in a lot of things, because the wife is no longer a stranger. She is part of your family. You're growing and building a family together. So you should be doing a lot of things together, despite that you're the head of household. And I'll give you an example. Back in 2003, I built my first house in the United States, brand new house. When I was building that house, I did all the negotiations. I went and saw the lenders, everything that I did, the real estate agents, until they say, all right, what area would you like your house built? I got my land is. I want to go see the land myself. Let's go there, not just look at a picture from the paper. We went there and I took my wife with me, and he had different lots. And we made the collective decision that this lot, so-and-so, I still remember lot 208, was the lot that we want. I want my house built on this. And that's how we started. I got her involved. When they built the house and we got to a point where they said, okay, we need to go to I forgot the name of the place, their center where they choose what things to put in the house. I took my wife with me. We went there and we chose what color paint needs to go into our house, what color kitchen counters we want there, what type of carpet do we want. We chose all of it together. This is what really needs to happen when a man marries a woman, because again, you brought this person to come live with you, not temporarily, but forever. So do things that are going to affect both of you forever.
Now, I'm just gonna inject there. Now, how does that play out with two wives? That means you have multiple people making decisions, right?
You involve with them. You involve them in the decision. If I had two wives, I would say, yeah, let's talk about it together. Let's talk about it.
If you have three, then it will be like when it comes to vote, it's four. That means it's four entities.
But you still have to invite them.
Who's the tiebreaker?
You want to get them involved. There are certain things, again, just like from a leadership standpoint, there are certain things that a head of a household, just like a leader, if you already make a decision, don't ask for suggestions. That's one thing in leadership. If you already made a decision, don't go back to your people that you're leading and tell them, what do you think about this, this, and that? Because they will tell you their ideas. And if you don't take their ideas, you just created a problem for them, for yourself, because then they're going to look at it as, why ask our ideas when you've already made your decision what you're going to do? What's the point? So, but certain things like this, when it comes to a decision for the household, yes, if you have multiple wives, you need to talk to both, all of them. Talk to all of them. You know, share ideas. Your idea may not always be the best idea. Share ideas, and you'll all listen and then come to a conclusion together collectively and say, yeah, this is the best thing for us. That way, that will be an everlasting decision that all of you make together, not just one person. Whether it's good or bad is your decision together. Yep.
So what do you think about our African brothers and sisters here, who have their partners here, and when they're living together, when they all working, the woman would say, my husband is gonna pay the bill, perhaps the food. Even so, they buy for the children. Now the wife is working, going to Ngentes with bling blings, chains, I mean, like showing off, competition, especially in our New York area here. Spending money lavishly. But at the same time, he will say back home, a man takes care of the wife. So a man can tell a dog, a man can have responsibility. The family take care. But meanwhile, you see the woman spending, abekodo spend kang dula dul to men man fenko samanang. Men man tell the family makoy kang. So let me say this in Mandinka. Let me say this in Mandinka, because I am pretty sure more people will actually understand. About nang kamen for. Comment to let's do jang ni be jang. Musul ka do ko ke kiwol ka do ko ke. Okay, comment mo jamaya lo nyaming jang ani Gambia man killing musul ila right protect jam bakele. Ibuka hanyika kukela kudo kela isimin kela back home. Sai na mari tata albika kodin ate akumata ko sai na arobe nyaming Africa kewole ka muso take care. So atlanyi kodo men akasuro ten abukana dun kula fakara hewol to jang hew baindo kin bal visitila kul vekela kuval vekela. So now the same time at musu killing atalikana kafo ning when it comes to purka decision o make ka kul kachanyo kan aka kan wulindi akema kan katanda akema la ko listen, jamu americality jamu 12 duleti yemen niba funga 50-50 na decision wala, but saying ate bang bring nim build dul nata abukale for way 50-50 manana puka kan ka decision okay ka kul kacha asi kamfa akema kama fa ko muna tina ye decision o make ko ma funye yalon jamu americality be right totally and so forth. So you cannot have it both ways. Ita be sotla. Albesilale as a family, alia decide. Niko kiwa be below tala. Then definitely, I don't have a responsibility tala. Ida fanang inanti la moya ikimala. O ni lafta ilo kodo me kaso de fana below do take care. Na other decision making na ikimasi involved. I involve fully. Because nkajele sometime ninga modul call ika fanyeko. I have to talk to my wife first. Okay. It's not a bad idea. That might sound romantic. But sometime it can just be that I need a wife, maybe we'll look at below Joe. So until formal sometime until boys the mal nimbe diamo kan gavo ka ilaki yamara adela muso buka samba. So what diamo sifal being come yeah. So a complicated battle, especially in Nibe West. Men be West Nial be la moy kangal alfama balo na coming for complicated. So decision make 50-50 coining maneta bakele because ntol bonno home. Okay. Kewo ngalo ne kewo dol fanan beje e ka jele okay na muso be do ko wala. So muna nan tabe nyimbe kala fonda fudal. Which is a valid point, but sami men for no wolem akoni muso be do ko la muso for alas len for sam lembang. Ako muso hakilo nan tajela Kunantan kema makoila because me kudo meka. But how many people ole nanta ole hakilo be injela? Especially near family sort of back home. Sana ida family be back home abe preso kan. Ha inyongol be tara tubab do be je ye bamal samba maka. Ye famal samba maka. Ye bungol lo. So you most of the back home abo diam sifakele. It's another footballer. Of course, ina men ila mind terlaw kang o football kang because hakilo be terlaw men kang. Ha namun men be koma nyongol menke. You know, ibaba be kola duma ba fleko ni ma nyinke te barakala. You know, dolbe kola ba fleko ni nara ni ma nyongol fele bungol lo jang. So abatina relationship oni laftala nyame atakenola. This is the fact. And momonde malana mul nyinika men be west. They will tell you. Presso from home muso dole bukela fudu keno. You understand? So keobe jang abe bilo jokan. At among life sort of from it musola. Albuka time from spend nyokan. Albuka ta dinner la fong. Albuka romantic. So at the end of the day, keo kana muneke 7 days kana ule duku. No time for his life. Abukala health phone check. Abukala hospital. Pum one time ya mo yukabant. Why? Because of the pressure. Muso nying amam makoro diala nanta makoro diala la nyami. Ofanang me tell because I back home, you know, ibediam like don't phone kada to the point that yesamba murulia or stuff like that. Bunyin kamara, it ain't mentally okay. So at the end of the day, you know, family Jamaica collapse in the West because of this. So 50-50 the Kenola, even 75-25, Hanakeda. At the end of the day, Kiwaleka lose. Because the fact of the matter is the one thing that is certain in Islam, but sign situation has changed. Musul, they are even more, they have more opportunity. So in that reverse, there is no other laws in Islam that says the Musul opportunities then ananta commitment. So they make it live is open. Open decision. So this is very complicated area. I mean, like we have to sensitize our women. Katandila ko. Ntela advice be element. And nintela advice be element. Wala mniti. Moli ya jibe ya kata. Ya lonko family ala success. Atuta partners level. Nali come together. Alia plan. Alkay musul kanying fewol men ke hewol to teng. Trust me. Ibe yin kenol sana teng. Even you whole bar rent, it's not gonna benefit their children. It's not gonna benefit them. It's not gonna pay for their education. It's not gonna save for their school. 529 college assistant. Amanta Akela. So at the end of the day, Wokodo Akatale full, and you will never get that back because you might invest. Okay? You are just living for today. You might invest in anything. You might invest in stocks. You might invest in anything. So another kelamenti walam. Musonin kyo. Alanta menkela. Alanta Allah children, especially now they're doing so alia focus working, wala future working. Alia could save for them in education. That way, natural mantarajang, or at least wala future is better. Ye fankarandi no for ye function is a good job, so no, and then move along. But again, musul fankatara su musunin kyo katara siring. This 50-50 idea musul ka capitalize akang. Kewalka they end up paying 75-25 for women. And at the end of the day, that woman also used that money because almost everything is paid for her and use it back home. Aka fen fon lo me alonko akema fon malo. Aka koda lo me alonko, aka kuke me alonko akema fon mano. So mo kana munefo. Nyina kema vijana akema mantara fenkika. Mukewole ka musulle ka baraka tubabdo. So you see, you tend to hear all that kind of stuff. So what I'm just saying is that, and this can be vice versa too. Kiwudol fanansi na ano jang, ibul flow la nyokang, ila musol be take care. Okay? They don't mind to be a boy. Decision making, okay, take it. It is decision no make me big, fine. I'm gonna go to the grocery for you. And I can see Val to Banajak, Asiara. So it'll It will be like life enjoy la draw. Nila muso ko go to the supermarket for me etaji. They don't care because you know what? They don't have a aim so they care. It may be the family new from a boy. So this is all happening. So I think at the end of the day, I thought how they want their life to go. 50-50 or 40, 75-50, 25, or however you want to do it. It's left to the family to decide with the wives. If they know that they definitely cannot work it out, I think they need to figure something out. Because at the end of the day, if you want to plan to live together forever, you must have a plan. Like Sam coming for. If you don't plan, if you fail to plan, if you plan to fail, I mean, if you fail to plan, you will plan.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now man see as a family and say, listen, gee, you can you make, you can you make. So saying, why not I take 50% and put it towards the family of my salary? Either for now you take 50% of your salary, put it in the family. Now allow 50% do now left I'll put to put anyhow. But do that. Again, in decision making for another. Oh, anyway, I want to make sure that you are inclusive in any decision that has to deal with this family here. So that's another way to go. Oh, ni left that? Can we 75K? It is 25K as a wife. But now decision making na lenyo saba. Ya ite na alpha, ite na kyodi. Islam mo men for nga bule noma. That's it. It make the alternate call. So I think this is my advice.
Yeah. It's also a difficult
Right.
thing. Yeah, I mean,
Yes. Go ahead, Alice.
the only couples having the chance is always to forget about the numbers and know what is between them and their family and try to look forward. But as you mentioned, there is also a big thing, this family interference is also a major thing what used to give a lot of problem with a lot of couples, especially when you marry also one from Gambia. You are a Gambian, you are a hustler. Definitely she is also a hustler. You are having family back home, she is having family back home. And our families, we are having problems in Gambia and everybody needs money there. So, and then the pressure is they are also having problems where they are in the West because here is not easy. You know, there's nothing like I go to this man and he will help me, or I go to my uncle, he will help me. No, you have to make sure that you do it yourself. So there are hard times where men, wives help the men, or the men help the wife. But when it comes to certain couples who used to say 50-50, but when it comes to decision, they want to take 70, or men who will say 50-50, and when it's to decide, they come to 80, then the woman would not say, okay, you are the decision maker, you know. So I think that is also a very dangerous thing because you'll be deciding alone and no human being is perfect. Sometimes you have a very good idea in your head and think that is the best, but when you hear it from your daughter or your son or your wife, they will try to give you another idea, better idea. But just because you discuss about it, so it's not a disadvantage, but a very big advantage sometimes to discuss it, especially with your wife, because that is only respect. Because I cannot do anything behind her back or so, things like that. That means I'm 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 covering something up, which is very normal in our society in Africa. Even the woman is afraid to ask the man what happened, or to discuss certain things because it is believed that only the man should have the say according to our religion, which many people also make this mistake because I know and heard a lot about our prophet, you know, he loves his wives too much. You can even read it, you know. He tried to put all of them on pedestal. Definitely, he's a human being. You must have one who is very near to your heart. But that one, he did it, you know. So, and if you look at the Arabs today, that's where the religion comes. Our prophet did all these things. But you see that they are living very different because they know all these reasons. If you see the Arabs, they put their wives like this. You understand? Because they know the word of a woman. Our prophet did that too. So when we say in Africa, I'm the man, I'm the person who should decide, I'm going to, some will kick their wives and treat them badly and things like that. So I think then we have to ask ourselves, are we marrying four people because of the reason in Saudi Arabia? And when then, how should we treat them? You understand? Because the Arabs never play with their wives. Forget it. That's why I said at the beginning that we always try to copy them up to at this point, then the ways diverge, you know, Because when it comes to respecting a woman, loving a woman, giving the woman respect, we don't do it. Many do it, but in Africa we don't do it because we always believe that, or we are misinformed that we have to treat the woman like that. You understand? And that is the mistake, you know. And I think when we talk about love and everything on law basis, then there will be less stress. If it doesn't function, then everybody can go. But you cannot treat your woman like a dog, or the woman treating the man like a dog, you know, just because she's having more money than the man, or the other way around, that the man should have 80% or nonsense. I think to have a harmonious living, and live together, love each other, because that you are even going to be healthy, because there will be less stress. And if you are as a man or a wife, you having problem, you will see that the man who loves you will come and help you instead of giving you more stress, things like that. So it's very important that we focus, even in the West, that people focus more on the love than all these economical reasons, or to be more important or less important, because you cannot be more important than your man, or the man cannot be more important than the woman. If that starts, then we're talking about 50-50 again, which will be at the end also a problem, because many women are even afraid to tell their men the problem they have, just because the man is putting himself there. They cannot read that. So they'll be dying with anger without saying a word. So you think this woman is happy? No. Why? Because the system in the house. So I put myself as a man, I lower myself down so that we can communicate to understand each other. But if I want to stay there and say that it is said that a man has all these controls, the woman not, uh, I think there will be always misunderstanding because you are talking from different levels. So it's better either the woman come up or you, the man, you come, which is easier, and talk. You do that with your kids. You cannot talk to them like uh, an adult. Sometimes to play with them, you have to be as a papa. You come down to be the same level. If not, you cannot communicate. So the same thing with your wife, and I think that is very important. I mean, it's definite in the West that it's another culture. We come here, we see how they are living. We are from another culture. What we know and what we think is working, till we came here and see how these people are. So want to adopt to that life and know that this is even worse because it's also not working. So there is no, you'll see that because of economical and religion and all these things, the reasons when you come together, it will not hold because the reason why God bring people together and bring love in their middle is to come together and live with harmony, not a war or making a love business. I used to call it business because when we talk about money, who is going to pay this, who is going to pay that? You are the man, you have to pay this and that. For me, I used to say it's business. That's not love. Because if I love somebody, I'm having money, Sam needs it. Because of my love, I'll give it to Sam without asking. Is it not definite?
That's
So,
that's
but
right.
when I think of money, then I'll say, okay, why should I give it to Sam? Because he's having money, he put it this and that and that. So I need my money, for my own business and so. Is that a relationship? No. But many people understand that as relationship today. But it's not relationship. You can say living together or having kids together. But what God is asking, the love, is not there. Forget it. Because of other reasons. So that's why I used to say when two couples want to come together, they have to forget about all these things because being in love is sacrifice. Being man and woman is sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. So the whole question is always whether the woman is ready to sacrifice or the man or both of you. The best is both of you to sacrifice. And never listen to certain families. They'll break your marriage. Believe me. Because
Thank
they
you.
will not understand the condition you are in the West. Most of the case, if you are telling them, they'll not understand it. It's normal because they are not here to see all the problems you people are having. So this should understand, the man should understand that, the wife the same thing, and try to even explain to them the problems, be frank, open with your problems, what you have, because sometimes they used to misjudge you because they are seeing somebody doing another thing, doing something there in Gambia. They try to scale you with that person without knowing where this person is having his money. Maybe he
Yeah.
rob a hog or kill a person together. That doesn't interest them. They are not interested because they don't know what's going on in the culture.
That.
You know? So try to figure out all these economical things or status or who is having more to say and more power also. For me, I tell you, to have the same stand is the best thing. Because never think that we as Muslims, we should treat them like that. Because the Arabs themselves, where the Mecca is standing, ask them, ask the world how these people treat their women. They put them like this. So we cannot say that we are Muslims and treat the woman then as how we want. Then there's something wrong, or we don't want to understand, or we are using our privileges, because we have that as mindset. I'm a man, I have to always be on top, and many women are also having this mindset. He's the man, he has everything to say. You know, I think that thing they have to, clear that. And for me, my only advice is focus on love. When it's not working, let go your way.
Thank you.
Never try to make it because of economical reason or anything. It will not hold, and your kids are not going to be happy because they are copying a style also, which is going to disturb them in their life. Because you are in the house, show them good examples. Because kids they copy. How was my father and mother? And that's how they are going to grow with, and that's what they are going to looking for when they are grown up. So show them always the best examples. That's my advice. Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much, Alice. Your final words,
Yeah,
Sam.
Alice, you two really went into this real deep. But Mr. Sawaneh, you put it all on the table now.
you.
Everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Very interesting.
I wish we made that a whole topic and talk more about that. But and I'm glad you put it on the table out there.
I think
That's
time.
what's
Yeah,
happening. That's what's
time now.
happening. That's the reality. So what I'm gonna say is just like I always say, it's always good to plan accordingly and from the beginning. The beginning is the foundation of everything. Even a house, the foundation of the house is the best structure you can have that can have that house stand for a long time. So foundation of everything is important. And I remember this when I got married. I remember this. From that time, all the things that I went through from the beginning, and the things that we did, which set up a very good foundation for us. So if we look at what is happening in the world now, in the Western world, in America and in Europe, a couple is getting married and got married, and then they have a problem in the house balancing things, Man is working, woman is working, the wife is working, but spending her money on herself and other things, and not supporting the husband, or vice versa. That's really not a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing. Once you agree to marry someone, you agreeing that you're going to build your life with that person, around that person, with that person for the rest of your lives. That's what we marry for. We don't marry because we want to marry for temporary reasons, for a couple of years, and then you can go your way and I go my way. That's not the point. The point is to really marry forever, and until death. Basically, that's what we say. We really need to think about that and plan accordingly, and do what we need to do to set up our future for the marriage, but the future for our children as well. It's always important to think about all of that. So, all those men and women watching out there or out there right now, it's very important that we set up that foundation from the beginning. That way, you will not have a problem. And when you set that foundation up to marry someone, you really, one of the things that I did is really um, make sure that once you marry someone, really make sure that you close all doors and windows from anybody else interfering with your marriage.
Right,
That's it.
right.
Just close
If
all the
not, you
doors
have
and
no
windows.
chance.
Let you and your wife, you're adults now. You can get advices, but anybody else that's going to tell you this, and that, kick them out. That's none of their business. Stay away from it. They should stay away from it. So one of the things that, like I said, the foundation is important. For me, what I have seen is what I'm going to talk about. When I married my wife at that time, we were both working. All right. We were both working. And I look at myself as the head of the household. So when I married her, she said, since we are both working, can we hire a maid, someone that will do the cleaning in the house and all that stuff? And she also said, on top of that, that she will pay that maid from her
Wow.
salary.
Wow.
I said, oh, okay. Well, at that point, I didn't have anything to say. I'm not going to pay it, so she's going to pay it. I
You
said,
were
sure.
happy. You were happy.
And she said, we also need a telephone in the house. In those days, cell phones were not common. Nobody had cell phones. We need a telephone line in the house. And she also said, she will pay that as well. I said, all right, good. Well, you made it easy for
Good,
me. And
good.
she said, I know you have family, you have brothers and sisters, so you can also help support them. And exactly that's what happened, and she hired a nanny, a maid, and took the maid to her mother and get that maid trained the way they cook and the way they do everything. Then brought her and then brought her to our house to help. And of course, exactly that's what I did too. I also was able to support my brothers that were in high school and paying their high school fees. I did that, you know.
Yeah.
But that was a good foundation, and since it started that way, it never ended. That's a wife that did that, and that showed me she cares. She is really ready to share.
Right.
She is
Love.
ready to share whatever she has. In fact, in those days, I'm not trying to talk more about myself. I'm just showing people what really should be happening out
Yeah.
there.
No, it's important. It's important.
Yeah.
And
When
that
you
is
have
love.
for women, when we have our women out there, and my wife, when we did that, I had a car, and of course every weekend, I mean, she will go out to the market herself with the maid, and she will drive, and trust me, there are at least once a month. There is going to be one Saturday that she will get up and she will not ask me for the fish money. She will call it. She will tell the nanny that the maid, let's go to the market. She drives to the market with the maid, and she did all the shopping from her own money and brought it home and cooked for all of us. So so that was the foundation for me, and that really stood out, and really helped because again I was able to focus on helping my brothers pay their school fees and things like that. And until we both moved to America, nothing changed. We've always been like that, and
Mhm.
has nothing has changed on that since then. So I
No,
look
but
at that as a very good example. And for all of those that are out there listening, for women, really support your husband. You really need to support your husband because
right.
God knows who is going to die first. And you have children that you're going to leave behind you. If you support your husband so that your husband can save money for the children, the future of the children will be very important.
Yeah.
If you're not supporting your husband, then save your money for your children. Save the money so that that money can help your husband
Don't
pay.
spend it on gentes and
And
lavish lifestyle competing one another.
husbands shouldn't be doing that. That's
No, the
people.
wives I'm talking about.
Oh, the wives. Yeah, yeah. So that's, sometimes the way people think is different. I know we all have the right to our own opinion, and everybody can do whatever they want. But I'm just saying it's always good to think about our future, think about our children, think about what's going to happen, and think about, what if you die today? What if you die today? Or what if you're gonna die? If I mean, we don't know when we're gonna die, but if you think about, hypothetically, if you're gonna die tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year, what are you gonna leave behind? You think you should be taking that money that you're earning from your job and lavishly spending that money buying all kinds of jewelry that you're going to leave behind here? You're not going to take those jewelry to the graveyard with you. They're not even going to dress you with that. They're going to leave you in a white piece of material, and tie you up and bury you in the ground.
You're gonna go with your deeds instead.
What's that?
You're gonna go with your deeds instead.
Exactly. That's where you're going with. You're not going with all this jewelry and all that stuff. So it's important to really think about the future, think about what you're going to leave behind, and think about what you're going with. So help your husbands, and husbands really help your wives. It should be a team effort. Husbands should be the head of household. You should have all the responsibility, but women should really help in the house as well. And make a good marriage, make a good life, and produce good children out of that are also going to step up and help in the society. So that's kind of like the way I look at it. So I had a good example, and I wanted to share that example, and it's been a great thing for me.
So I've seen some comments here. I want to just let you guys see that before we close.
Yep.
So Alas, I know you want to say something, but let me just read this. You are right. Some African men take advantage of good women in their lives, by someone called Mata Mending, and she said, not all wives are like that. Most of the time is the men who do those things. So I guess the things that you are talking about, Sam, that's what she just said something.
Yeah, she is right. She is right. I mean, she is right. So men, that's why I said I talked about both men and women, and she's right. Men need to treat their women with respect.
I wish we have some, like a woman in the show, but that didn't happen. But next time we're talking something like this, we would like to.
We need to get them in there.
Yeah. Alice, you want to say something before we close?
No, I just wanted to thank Sam. I mean, it's a good example that he also shows that life has also another side, not only the bad side. And if you are a real person, real human being, you will see that any day your wife should have problems, then you will also be ready to sacrifice everything.
Absolutely.
To help her. That is why people come together. There must be a basis, and it's called love. When that is there, you don't look about money. And the same thing your wife did. You would have said, okay, you are the man, why should I give you my money? Also, things like, no, it's because of something. And this something is called love, which many of us don't know. Really. I'm very sorry to say that, but I know in our culture, you hardly find it. Because if there's a problem, people discuss about other things. You will never hear anything about love. That is at the end. You understand? Yeah, that is at the end. It's unfortunately that way.
Yeah, our
but
culture.
I just wanted to say your example is to teach maybe many people. If you stand there for your wife, you will see that when you have problems, she'll also stand for you. And that's what love is, not 50 or 60 or 70. That is just somebody try to find it. We've seen it in the West that through that is giving themselves a lot of problems. It's no advantage, but disadvantage. Thank you.
Definitely, it's a great topic. I think what we will do is we will have more topics to come, and we will invite more people to come up and discuss, many more things like this. But it is good to discuss social issues because it also brings, the best out of us, and then maybe change our attitude, our practice, other things that we're taking for granted. So it's very important once a while, not only talking about political and economical issues, but we also talk about political issues. Today's topic is really, really interesting and very, interactive. So thank you all, and
Educative.
we definitely look forward for next week for more debative topics. Yeah, but let's
Okay.
let's let's work on talking in local languages too. I think that also helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you all. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care, Sam, Alice.
Yeah, take care, Mr. Sawaneh.
And thank you, Alice.
It was
Thank
a very
you. Yeah.
interesting topic, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could go. We could go longer and longer, but for the sake of
Yeah,
time, and
there are a
You can
lot of
go.
social
yeah,
programs that you can talk from. Also,
Yeah.
just like politics, you
Yeah.
can talk from mornings to evening,
yes,
especially when it's about the Gambia.
yeah,
Okay, Sam, take
yeah.
care.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.